Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 2 of August 2024. The rupees 1.46 lakh crore Bajaj Group is preparing to enter the healthcare sector by setting up a chain of hospitals in metros across the country. This will be the first major diversification for the Jamanlal Bajaj founded 98-year-old business house since the death of former patriarch Rahul Bajaj in February 2022. The Income Tax Department is now examining overseas property investments by Indian residents, including recent acquisitions in Switzerland and Portugal. This unprecedented scrutiny follows automatic information exchanges under OECD's Common Reporting Standard. Previously, only details of foreign bank accounts and securities held by Indians were shared, excluding property investments. The government has taken a significant step towards modernizing India's aviation sector with the introduction of the Bharatiya Vayuyan Vidhayak Bill 2024 in the Lok Sabha. This bill replaces the Aircraft Act of 1934, which has undergone 21 amendments over the years and aims to align the Indian aviation sector with global standards. The proposed legislation, consisting 44 clauses, seeks to streamline regulations and foster growth in India's rapidly expanding aviation market. The bill was introduced in Parliament last week. Billionaire Elon Musk criticized the Federal Reserve for not cutting interest rates, expressing concern over the potential damage to the economy due to prolonged high rates. The Fed left rates steady last week but hinted at a possible cut at their upcoming meeting in September. Fed Chair Jerome Powell suggested a rate cut could occur next month, aligning with the ongoing presidential election campaign. SEBI has introduced several regulatory measures to enhance the safety and stability of the derivatives market. These measures include increasing the minimum contract size of derivative contracts to between Rs 15 lakh to Rs 20 lakh in Phase 1 and Rs 20 lakh to Rs 30 lakh in Phase 2. Mandatory upfront collection of options premiums by trading members is required to prevent undue intraday leverage. SEBI also proposes intraday monitoring index derivative positions to ensure compliance with position limits. The strike price intervals for options will also be rationalized, and margin benefits for calendar spread positions expiring on the same day will be eliminated. Weekly options contracts will be limited to a single benchmark index to reduce speculative trading, and increased margin requirements near options contract expiry will mitigate high implicit leverage risks. These measures aim to create a more secure and stable derivatives market, protecting retail investors and promoting economic benefits. One of the most hotly debated proposals for this year's budget may see a tweak, with the Finance Ministry likely to provide relief to homeowners by fine-tuning the new long-term capital gains provisions announced on July 23rd that seek to remove indexation benefits for unlisted assets, including property and gold. The changes being considered include extending the effective date of the new regime to the next financial year instead of the day the budget was tabled in Parliament. Besides, discussions are going on about grandfathering the purchase of all asset classes, including property, where the indexation provision could apply. The Directorate General of Goods and Services Tax Intelligence sent notices to 10 foreign airlines over alleged Rs 10,000 crore unpaid taxes. Airlines like British Airways and Emirates are accused of not paying taxes on imported services by Indian branches. This issue covers the period from July 2017 to March 2024, sparking an investigation that began in August 2023. Motherson Group has joined Apple's supply chain network in India in partnership with BIEL Crystal Manufactory. They will set up a manufacturing facility in Tamil Nadu with an investment of Rs 2,000 to Rs 2,500 crore. This strategic move aims to diversify Motherson's manufacturing focus beyond automotive components, leveraging Apple's reduced dependency on Chinese products. The global stock sell-off has spurred calls for the US Federal Reserve to lower interest rates quickly and decisively. Some analysts are now urging an emergency rate cut before the Fed's scheduled decision in September. Futures markets as recently as last week expected a 0.25 percentage point cut at the central bank's next meeting. However, data from CME Group now indicate a 0.5 point cut is more likely. Vedanta Resources Limited aimed to refinance its high-yield debt to lower costs following a favorable rating upgrade. The company entered talks to refinance $3 billion of bonds maturing between 2026 and 2028. S&P Global Ratings upgraded Vedanta, citing its adequate internal resources. The miner intended to reduce borrowing costs by up to 400 basis points. In a big relief to real estate industry, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will move an amendment in the finance bill to let taxpayers select either 12.5% long-term capital gains rate without indexation or 20% rate with indexation for property acquired before July 23, 2024. As per the amendments to the Finance Bill 2024 circulated to the Lok Sabha members on Tuesday, individuals or HUF who bought houses before July 23, 2024 can compute taxes under the new scheme, which is at 12.5% without indexation, and old scheme, which is at 20% with indexation, and pay such tax, which is lower of the two. Mizuho has withdrawn from the bid for a significant stake in Yes Bank, leaving Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation and Emirates NBD as the main contenders. Yes Bank is seeking a new owner 4 years after a central bank-led rescue. The SBI denied selling its stake in the bank. Mahindra & Mahindra has seen its services sector contribute around 30 to 40% to profits. With further growth in Mahindra Finance and Tech Mahindra, services could play a major role in future profitability. The company focuses on core automotive and farm businesses, aiming for profit-led growth through increased margins and product diversification. Indian corporates are currently navigating a complex landscape of GST compliance, particularly concerning self-invoicing and the reverse charge mechanism for services received from foreign entities. The government has been issuing circulars to address these concerns, but the pace of these developments has been somewhat gradual. Recently, Infosys secured partial relief from demands raised by the Directorate General of GST Intelligence over free services rendered by its related foreign subsidiaries. This development hints at possible relief for other companies facing similar issues, particularly those receiving invoices from abroad. In a significant development, most of India's personal income tax payers have transitioned to the new tax regime for the current assessment year. According to the Central Board of Direct Taxes, 72% of those who filed their returns by the July 31st deadline opted for the new tax regime, contributing to a record high of almost 7.29 crore income tax return filings. Goods and Service Tax authorities have sent notices demanding unpaid GST from more than 20 insurance companies, including HDFC Ergo and Star Health. The Directorate of GST Intelligence found these insurers provided services to SEZ employees and their families without paying IGST, leading to Rs 2,000 crore in dues. Companies received show cause notices after their explanations were deemed unsatisfactory. Mahindra and Mahindra received a notice from the GST office regarding the use of the Mahindra brand name by group companies, questioning why GST wasn't paid for this service between 2017 to 2023. Tax officials believe GST should apply to the royalty or fees, raising concerns among corporate circles about the implications for numerous business houses. The proliferation of mule accounts has emerged as one of the major reasons behind rising financial fraud in the country. Mule account holders are termed money mules, who often are innocent victims duped by fraudsters into laundering stolen or illegal money through their bank accounts. Money mules are recruited, sometimes unwillingly, by criminals to transfer illegal obtained money between different bank accounts. When such incidents are reported, the money mule becomes the target of police investigations due to their involvement. The Securities and Exchange Board of India is looking to further tighten the noose around participatory notes or P-notes or offshore derivative instruments by imposing a complete ban from using the derivatives market. Currently, P-notes can use the derivatives market only for hedging purposes. Further, the market regulator has proposed mandating P-notes and also foreign portfolio investors with segregated portfolios to provide granular disclosures around the ultimate beneficial owners, which currently only FPIs have to provide. The move is to plug the regulatory arbitrage that exists between those taking the P-note and segregated portfolio route vis-a-vis the regulatory FPI route. Earlier, SEBI carried out a public consultation on the proposal of putting in place a structured institutional mechanism at the end of AMCs which can proactively identify and deter instances of such market abuse. Accordingly, the SEBI Mutual Funds Regulations 1996 was amended. Now, SEBI has directed that this mechanism shall consist of enhanced surveillance systems, internal control procedures, and escalation processes to effectively identify, monitor, and address misconduct. Bitterly fought questions on the contentious black money law, like its retrospective use and the validity of delayed notices, are heading towards a closure. The Delhi High Court has set August 23, 2024 for the final hearing on the Black Money Act affecting individuals such as Robert Vadra and Deepak Talwar. Central issues include the retrospective application of the law and the timing of tax notices. The court has ruled out further adjournments seeking to resolve long-standing disputes. The RBI has voiced worries about the recent increase in top-up home loans, signaling a potential trend of borrowers using the funds for speculative investments, particularly in the stock market. Lenders have been urged by the central bank to remain vigilant and monitor the intended use of the top-up home loans. Half of all vehicles sold in China in July were either new pure electric vehicles or plug-in hybrids, a milestone that underscores how far the world's biggest auto market has leapt ahead of Western counterparts in EV adoption. New energy vehicle sales accounted for just 7% of the total vehicle sales in China 3 years ago, but its heavy investments in EV supply chains have propelled the growth of domestic EV industry, leaving many established foreign brands scrambling to catch up. The Reserve Bank of India has announced a significant proposal to increase the Unified Payments Interface limit for tax payments from Rs 1 lakh to Rs 5 lakh. This proposed hike aims to streamline the process for taxpayers, allowing them to settle higher tax dues directly through UPI. In its 50th review of the monetary policy, the Reserve Bank of India's 6-member Monetary Policy Committee on Thursday decided to keep the repo rate unchanged at 6.5%. It maintained the withdrawal of accommodation policy stance for a ninth straight time, citing food inflation risks, and red flagged certain lenders not adhering to top-up loan norms and credit card spend growth staying high despite an increase in risk weightings. Hindenburg research has hinted at another significant revelation related to India. On Saturday, Hindenburg posted on X stating, "Something big soon, India." Last year, on January 24th, Hindenburg Research released a report criticizing the Adani Group just before Adani Enterprises' planned share sale. The report resulted in an $86 billion decline in Adani Group's market value and a significant sell-off of its overseas listed bonds. India is considering changes in the Limited Liability Partnership Act and other measures that would enable domestic accounting firms to merge and acquire scale. The government is of the view that this will help create large domestic audit firms akin to the Big Four. The ministry is also engaged in talks with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, which has decided to relax provisions in its regulatory framework to facilitate the aggregation of chartered accountant firms. The Goods and Services Tax Network has rolled out a new functionality on the GST portal, allowing taxpayers to easily add or amend their bank account details. This update is part of GSTN's ongoing efforts to enhance the user experience and streamline compliance process for business. The Income Tax Department has announced the release of the updated utility and schema for Form 3CEB. This form is critical for the report from an accountant that must be furnished under Section 92E of the Income Tax Act, which pertains to international transactions and specified domestic transactions. Mahindra & Mahindra, India's fourth largest automaker, is in discussions with the Kerala government to set up an electric vehicle manufacturing unit in the southern state, which is known for its higher EV penetration. If the talks succeed, it could boost the state's industrial sector ahead of its global investment meet in February scheduled next year. This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.